Chapter 86, A Sojourn of Some Strange People _8. We were rightfully scolded by Lady Violet that we shouldn't fight unnecessarily, and ordered to sit and wait in my room to reflect. Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber also realized they had been acting crazy, and perhaps having reflected on the trouble they had caused, they sat in their chairs with their backs straight and waited, barely moving. I also needlessly provoked them, so I was similarly on standby. I thought about making a conversation with them, but it's hard to talk with them in the current state, and if we talked a lot, there would be no point in reflecting, so a strange silence was dominating the room. Lord Cielo, may I express my gratitude? Then after a while Miss Amber spoke up. I was a little taken aback by her sudden words, but it looked like she required my answer, so I braced myself and replied. What happened all of a sudden? I am not going to let you smell me. You don't need to be so cautious. That is not what I meant. Wasn't trying to satisfy her desires by flattering me and making me let my guard down. I relaxed my guard and asked her why she wanted to thank me out of nowhere. If it was the past milady, she would never scold us even if we made a mistake. She would simply give us a word or two of warning and that would be the end of it. Really? Yes, she never used to show emotions other than a superficial smile and anger before. Usually when she scolds us, she would coldly tell us be careful, or don't do it next time. That's something that I can't imagine from the current Lady Violet. But she did have that kind of side to her in Ring of Fire. An emotional person who was usually unfriendly and very strict about discipline, only showed affection towards His Highness and was jealous of the heroine, who loved His Highness, trying to intimidate her. In other words, she was strict with others. I felt a little prickle just now. I wonder why. Not only did we not find anything wrong with it, we even thought that she was supposed to be that way. We thought that because she was a noble being and was supposed to become the mother of the nation, unlike us, she should not show her emotions carelessly. In our minds, she was the perfect person to lead the people. In order to become a so-called noble, upright queen, she didn't need extra emotions. I guess that's what she was taught to be in, and since I don't know anything about education, I have no intention of questioning whether it's right or wrong. Whether this method suits them or not depends on the individual. So, frankly speaking, when I heard that she was friends with Cyan Apricot and that other being who speaks an incomprehensible broken language, I thought that they were unsuited for her. I thought that since she's a noble, the commoners were unfit to be friends with her. Robot, Miss Amber treats you like an incomprehensible being. There are many aspects of her that I don't understand either, so Miss Amber isn't exactly wrong either. However, when I look at Milady as of late, I've mysteriously come to think that the current Milady may be better than before. In what way, for example? She was happy at our arrival, showed affection towards Lord Cielo and Grey. She also seemed to be having fun showing us around Shiki. Milady's voice when talking to her friends was the most upbeat I've ever heard, and her happy smile wasn't fake. Then they both looked confused and at a loss for words. Is it okay to say more? Is it okay to deny the past? That's the kind of an expression they had. They loved Lady Violet as Violet Valentine, and that's exactly why they might have some thoughts looking at her current state. It's like there's a conflict between their desire to return to the old days and their feelings from observing how easy it is to get along with her current self. Lord Cielo, may I come in? Then, as if to dispel the silence, somebody knocked on the door. Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber were startled by that voice and switched to a more composed look. After checking in on them, I replied that it was okay to come in and invited the person in. Well then, Lord Cielo, Amber Burnt, it's about time, so you can come. Do we not need to reflect any longer, milady? Also, what do you mean by, it's about time? When Lady Violet came in and confirmed that we were obediently waiting, she said something that was different from a sermon or lecture. After Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber asked with questioning looks on their faces, Lady Violet replied with no particular implication. Oh, Grey and I prepared dinner today. Eh? Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber looked surprised at these words, and Violet looked pleased to see that she had pulled one over them. Since you guys came to Shiki, you've been doing all the cooking. Although my cooking won't taste as good as yours, I'd like to invite you to dinner as guests. We wouldn't dare. Oh? Are you saying that you won't listen to your master? Are you planning to waste what your master has made? They hesitated to reply to Lady Violet, who spoke in an unfair manner, perhaps realizing that anything they said would be useless. Even if they denied it and told her that it wasn't the case, She would reply with, "Then it's an order from your master. Come on, it's going to get cold, so come to the dining room. If you need to wash your hands or change your clothes, I'll wait, but it's tastier when it's warm, so be quick." "Understood. We will come as soon as we're ready. Please go ahead first, milady." After agreeing with Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber, who had their heads bowed, and looking at me, Lady Violet turned on her heel and left for the dining room with, "We're having an extravagant feast today." Wait, what was that just now? Isn't that unfair? Once again, I would like to express my gratitude. Pardon. I held my cheeks that seemed to be loosening and responded to Miss Amber's words while remaining as calm as possible. It's frustrating, but my brother and I wouldn't be able to see Milady smiling like that. We loved the way Milady was before, so we didn't even think about changing her. Yes, we never thought that a day would come when Milady would be able to show such expressions and emotions so audaciously. But they paused and muttered quietly as if they were talking to themselves and not me. I loved how noble Milady was before, but I love the way Milady is now even more. Me too. Right now Milady is overflowing with a different kind of charm, and I love it. Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber looked somewhat happy as they looked at where Lady Violet was headed. I felt somewhat happy and relieved about that and was about to reply that I was glad for them, when also Milady's fragrance mixed with the scent of seasonings after cooking is very good. I want to enjoy it from up close even more. Milady's joyfully bouncing voice and footsteps are simply wonderful. I want to hear it from up close even more. They really had to ruin it at the very end. Chapter 87, Observation by the girl who was supposed to be the protagonist. I enrolled in Azalea Academy as a scholarship student. It was mainly due to me being a rare user of alchemy magic. Furthermore, the school that I enrolled in has many famous people with unique personalities. First of all, the most famous person in my grade is the third Prince Vermilion Randolph. He has beautiful red hair and purple eyes, which are characteristics of royalty. He is said to be a handsome boy, popular among men and women of all ages. The nickname given to him by those around him is Crimson Lion. Its origin is rooted in the prince's talent not only in studies, but also in magic. In fact, he defeated a B-rank monster as a child. In other words, if someone messes with him, they are bound to get hurt. Oh, he also has a good voice. When he first enrolled in the academy, he was a calm and a solitary person. He didn't show his emotions on his face. It was only recently that he started to become more expressive and friendlier. This naturally caused his popularity within the academy to soar even further. The reason why he's become friendlier is probably Mary's influence. He doesn't try to hide his feelings for her, and they can often be seen together. However, I don't really like him. It's because he insulted Vi, my precious friend, in public and dumped her. And he's spending time happily with Mary without caring about it. When I see that, I feel a strange frustration in my chest. Next is Ash Austin, a handsome boy with soft brown hair and black eyes. He is a member of the Marquis family, and an attendant of His Highness Vermilion. Although he has a good voice as well, he has a dark side. When it comes to academics, he's always ranked in the top 3 with His Highness and Mary. When it comes to magic, he's an expert of earth and wind. He is an all-around talented person, who is able to perform his duties, including miscellaneous tasks, as His Highness' personal attendant without any problems. Recently, he made a contract with a spirit called Carbuncle, causing a stir both inside and outside the school. I didn't like Ash that much until summer, but I think that one of the reasons why we've recently become closer compared to the superficial relationship before is because of Mary's influence. I once saw Ash get slapped by Mary at the academy. The reason was that he was acting for Highness with no regard for himself. At that time, this caused a big uproar, but Ash himself said that the rumors were false, and asked the students who witnessed it happen in front of them, including me, to not spread the word. In the end, the situation ended without problems. After that, he seems to have fallen in love with Mary like His Highness, and I often see them together. However, while I didn't see it directly because I was back at my parents' house, he seemed to have done something terrible to Vi during the duel, so I don't like him as well. He has changed a bit since the Shiki investigation, so it's okay, but I still feel somewhat uncomfortable with him. Also, he sometimes looks at me with strangely wary eyes. Next is Chartreuse Calvin. He's the son of the current knight commander and an archwizard. He's a handsome boy with dark green hair and chartreuse-colored eyes, with unparalleled fighting ability among us. He also has a good voice. When he first enrolled, Char was wrapped in an aura that kept others at bay more than His Highness. It was only recently that I often saw him interacting with others to improve himself. The way he strives to become Knight Commander is simple-minded, but brilliant and draws in people around him. The biggest reason why he changed is, as expected, Mary. She kept talking to Char, who was unfriendly and rarely interacted with anybody other than His Highness and Ash. She would sometimes take him out to the city to interact with him more. As a result, she closed the emotional distance between them, and he started to open up his heart to her. After which he started taking initiative to communicate with others as well. There's another well-known story within the academy about how Mary's group was attacked by a B-rank monster during an off-campus training session. During that incident, she got injured while protecting a classmate, and Char rushed over to defeat the monster alone. If you look at them from the side, they look like good rivals who mutually encourage each other to improve, and Char's awkward yet straightforward way of telling her that he would become a man worthy of her earned him popularity among the female students of the academy. That being said, I don't like how he held Vi down more than necessary during the duel and treated her like an object. When I interacted with him, he turned out to be a more honest type. I wonder if it's because of his personality that I stopped caring about those things? There are other famous people too. Senior Eccles, a handsome glasses-wearing older brother-type senior from a grade above, who's a member of Earl Forsyth's family. The story of him scooping up Mary in a princess hold in public after she broke her leg, and taking her to the infirmary is still being talked about among female students as a fairy tale-like event. He also has a good voice. Silva Seifred, a commoner like me who's in the same grade but is cute like a young brother. He used to be gloomy because he was being shunned due to him being able to use cursed magic, but he became cheerful thanks to Mary. We also now know the thing about the curse was a lie. Now he's loved as a hard worker, and is quite popular. He has a nice cute voice. And then there's Mary. A beautiful girl with pretty golden hair and red eyes, born as a commoner and not a noble, who has attracted the famous people I have described. Her family name is Sue. Also, she has a lovely cute voice. She uses the same alchemy magic as I do, but she is clearly better at it than I am. She excels in academics and always ranks in top 10 in the whole school, already attracting a lot of attention from people in her field of expertise. She also excels in other magic, and uses the 6 basic attributes of earth, water, fire, wind, darkness, and light, as well as other rare magic, as if she were a professional in that attribute. She has a high physical ability, and is as dependable in combat as His Highness Vermilion and Char, even in her natural state. She has good looks that attracts both men and women alike. She treats everyone kindly and regardless of their social status or race, and is loved by everybody. She's very good at changing her point of view and is quick to notice things that others around her have not noticed, which often impresses not only the students but the teachers as well. Her cooking skills are so good that it can be said that she can catch people through their stomachs. I have seen His Highness's group eat her homemade meals with relish. I can say that I am no match for her in every way, both as a woman and as a person. I was accepted in the academy because I can use the rare alchemy magic, but I can't help feeling inferior when Mary's ahead of me. A saint? Is she a saint or something? Fufu, thank you very much. However, there are many things that I adore about you. After all, you have something that I lack. She is a good girl, who is kind to me without worrying about such things, but I get a strange feeling when I interact with her. A strange feeling as if my place has changed. It's probably just my imagination though. And I am not very good at interacting with Mary. Mary and Vi are enemies, or more specifically, Vi has a one-sided hostility towards her. Although Vi made some mistakes in that regard, it just felt strange. Mary is kind to most people, but she seemed to treat Vi differently. I don't know how to describe it, but it was as if she wasn't a part of people who had to be saved. No, it's probably just my imagination. Well, there are other famous people too. I am technically also one of the famous students because I can use alchemy magic. There are other students who are attracting attention within the school as well. A student who excels in magic. A student who was born with special magic and was shunned for it. A now expelled student who used to use word magic. And my friend Vi, who was also expelled. It has become known throughout the school that she would come to Azalea Academy's school festival with her husband. Vi has an understanding husband, Mr. CLO, now. However, the famous students I mentioned earlier are clearly hostile towards her, and I even can see that her position at the school isn't good. On the contrary, she's perceived as an enemy of Mary, who's loved by many students even within the school. It can be said that she pretty much has no place here. That's why I think I have to be on Vi and Mr. CLO's side when they come to the school festival. Ahaha. I got dirty. I can't go home like this. I'll make a tool to remove the stains. I laughed while no one was watching and deployed a field to use alchemy magic. I'm glad that it was at a place where nobody else was watching. It would be a problem if I was seen by those famous students I was imaging earlier, and since I'm also kind of famous, if I was seen by other students it would cause strange rumors. I don't want either of that, so I have to be careful. If such rumors spread, even if I am Vi's ally, it would only be a nuisance for her. I was taught a long time ago that smiling is important, but I've also heard that sometimes even a smile can look crazy, so I have to keep calm as much as possible. I already have a hard time fitting in as is. I wonder if the blood will come off properly? I muttered to myself while wiping the bloodstains I got from defeating Trents. Maybe I should clean up too? Or rather, Trents actually have blood? First time I'm seeing it. Chapter 88. It starts with the preparation for convocation. Gray, are you done with preparations for tomorrow? Yes, it's all done. Early afternoon with sun high in the sky. We were at home making preparations to go to the capital. This will be my first return to the capital in several years. For Gray, it'll be his first time in the capital. For Lady Violet, it'll be her first homecoming in several months. To be honest, I feel dispirited. I wanted to show Gray around in the capital on another occasion, but since our goal this time is to attend Azalea Academy's school festival, I hate that Lady Violet and I will most likely end up with nothing but bad experience. You look happy, Gray. Yes, I am going to see the capital for the first time after all. I've heard that it has many things that Shiki doesn't, so I'm looking forward to it. Well, Gray also seems to be looking forward to it, so there's no point in continuing to complain about it. Thanks to a certain noble in the capital, there's a chance that if I'm discovered, I'll be immediately detained by the military police, so I'm glad that that danger is legally gone this time. I'll be able to eat Mr. Orange's stew at a roadside stall for the first time in a while. I'll be happy if Lady Violet and Gray enjoyed themselves too. If I remember right, in the capital, you can be recognized as a full-fledged man after winning at a gambling den, going out on the night streets with women and enjoying night fever, right? No. Where did you even hear that from? Mr. Yellow said that along with fever, drinking, buying, hitting is the most fun thing to do in the capital. I already told you to stop taking that person's words seriously. It's true that as a prosperous city, it has places like that too, but all of them are too early for Gray. At any rate, I'll have to warn Mr. Yellow, the self-proclaimed progenitor of heroic tales, later. Come to think of it, Gray has been happily talking about his trip to the capital recently. I wonder if he's learned anything else strange from anyone other than Mr. Yellow. I'll ask him just in case. I was told that if a strange woman talked to me, it's best to say I got lost and I have to go to my daddy quickly, with an upturned look and teary eyes, and leave. No. I was also told that if a man with Shota crazy eyes invited me, I should decline them by saying that I'm not that easy. Don't do it. If someone told me to buy a vase because I was possessed by an evil spirit, I should reply with forget that, why don't you start real estate instead? And show off Shiki's appeal. Stop it. Please stop teaching him how to tread the line between what's an actual countermeasure and what's not. Though it's also true that Gray is gullible, so rather than telling him to not believe what the other person said carelessly, it might be better to make him say the right words and leave the place. I'll have to make sure to keep an eye on Gray when we're outside. I must make sure that either Lady Violet, Mr. Burnt, or Ms. Amber, who are here as watchdogs of the Valentine family, are always with him. Lord CLO, preparations for tomorrow are done. Thank you very much, Ms. Amber. As I was explaining to Gray about the 3 threats of drinking, hitting and buying, and trying to deal with his blushing face at what he had said, Ms. Amber came over with luggage in her hand. I say luggage, but we'll only be staying there for a week. If we pack too much, it would only make it harder to move around, and since we only need a minimum amount of luggage, the amount itself isn't much. If you would like to thank me, a hug would be fine. I have a wife, so I'll refrain. Also, Miss Amber has become more honest about her desire to smell fragrances. I think it's because I'm the one who made them aware of their preferences, but I didn't think that they would start to deal with it in this manner. Since she doesn't try to do it by force or put laundry in her mouth, I think it's fine as long as she's not bothering anybody. In addition, she acts the same way as she always has towards Lady Violet, so the latter doesn't seem to have noticed anything. Then Gray, please come here. Yes, ma'am. However, would hugging me really count as a thank you? It will. When I refused, Miss Amber opened her arms in a beckoning way and asked Gray to come to her. Gray approached Miss Amber without a question and was taken into her arms. Well, this much should be okay. I'd stop them if Gray was a little more grown up and had different thoughts, but right now he only looks confused. By the way, Mr. Burnt prefers to have words whispered in his ear. When they fulfill their desires, their skin starts glowing, or so it seems, and they start to work harder. I just hope they don't go off the rails in a weird way when they return to the Valentine house. By the way, where's Lady Violet? Milady has gone with my brother to make the final confirmation regarding the management of Shiki starting tomorrow. I see. Then I have to check the documents next. In that case, I have packed the necessary documents in this luggage. The issuance procedures and arrangements have already been completed. Therefore, all you need is your family crest to prove your identity, and the Lord certification, Lord CLO. Thank you very much. No, it's part of my job. Miss Amber was quicker and more precise about finishing the information regarding my question and preparation. Those siblings are really good enough at their work to continue being servants at a ducal family. It doesn't feel that way though, because she's hugging Gray and her face is relaxed. Then I'll get going to see the father. Lady Violet might have gone to him too, but since I'm going to leave him in charge for a while, I'd like to greet him directly again. Yes, sir. In that case, here is your coat. It still hasn't started snowing yet, but it's still cold outside. Thank you very much. Miss Amber quickly reacted to my words, stepped away from Gray, then she came to me with my coat, which she had prepared out of nowhere, over her arm and opened it up for me to put on. These two are really excellent at their work. Gray was also looking at her with eyes full of admiration for her agility. Hoping that she wasn't holding it to just smell, I obediently let her help me into the coat. Then if visitors come, please tell them that I'll be back by the evening. If it's an urgent matter, either of you can come to the church to notify me. You don't have to see me off, so please feel free to spend the time as you see fit. Yes, sir. Have a good day, Lord CLO. I bowed slightly and left the room as Gray and Miss Amber saw me off. Well then, the days are getting shorter, so I should go to see the father soon. It'll get dark if I dilly-dally. By the Lady Amber, may I? What's Gray? In the last day of is actually. Oh, is that? Yes, that's why I need help. After leaving the room, I could hear Gray and Amber's conversation in the distance. Unfortunately, I couldn't make out the actual content. Chapter 89, still too nervous to replenish the supplies after this. Sob, what happened? When I arrived at the church to give the final confirmation to father about the management for while I would be away, Cyan was crying. She had tears in her eyes, which she was wiping with her hands, and her nose was also runny. Although I was confused that Cyan, who was always strong-willed and rarely ever cried, was crying, my hunch as her friend of several years was telling me that the matter wasn't actually serious enough to have a lasting effect on her. Did you try to appeal to father by helping him with managing Shiki, only to be left in charge of the church and separated from him? No, that wasn't it. Recently, Cyan seemed to be enthusiastic about taking this chance to get closer to father, so I was sure it had something to do with that. I was rooting for her, but everybody around could see that she wouldn't be able to do anything as usual. I thought I could finally get closer to the father, but I was also called to the capital. What? Cyan was summoned to the capital? If Cyan, who was sent to Shiki after hitting the archbishop while serving as a sister in the capital, was called back. So you're finally getting executed, huh? If that happens, I'll tell them that we are such excellent friends. Enough for us to be in the capital together. Stop it. If you do that, I'll tell them why you want to stay here. Don't. All right. Enough jokes. If we mess up, even father might get executed. If that happens, my position that's already not good will become even worse. Besides, we never met in the capital. For now she seems to have enough energy to throw a joke back at me. In that case, she wasn't sad because she would be punished if she went to the capital, but she was simply crying because she didn't want to be separated from the father. But still, why now? You've never been called back until now, right? Apparently they're inviting church officials from around here to hold an event at Azalea Academy's school festival. Important people from foreign countries are also coming, so they want to make it look like the people involved with the state religion are well educated. Are you serious? From what I've heard, they make a bigger group than usual sing hymns at the school festival. They line them up as extras in plays and ask them to perform readings and confessions. In other words, they want to create a buzz by inviting real church officials to the school festival. A level of publicity that can even attract people who aren't interested in the church. And while it depends on the size of the town, it seems that at least one person is always called as representative from each town. That's what Cyan seems to have been chosen as. If they want a representative, wouldn't father be? Don't tell me it's because I left him in charge, so that's why? It might sound rude, but Cyan is definitely far from what the general public imagines as a sister. I thought that it would be better for the academy to call the father as a representative instead of Cyan, but maybe father refused them because we left him in charge of managing Shiki. Thinking so, I felt apologetic, but Cyan shook her head and denied it. No, I was nominated. Or more like, they didn't want father to go more than they didn't want me to go. That seems to be the reason there was no summoning notice until the last minute. In other words, yes. It's probably because if he went, the status of those greedy fools in power would be in jeopardy. The priest of Shiki, Father Snow White, is an undeniably honest priest with no shred of perverted tendencies. I have never seen a more admirable priest than him. He's been in Shiki longer than Cyan. He helps those in trouble with no hesitation, immediately agrees to requests, fights against monsters with no fear for his life, and saves others without discrimination if they are in need. He would do so regardless of if they have committed a crime in the past. However, he doesn't simply just accept everybody, as he will admonish those he deems evil, and will even fight them in some cases. Because he saved too many people, he was loved by many and shunned by the church officials. He would only accept donations and nothing more, never asking for compensation to save people. Because he adhered to the doctrine of saving others too much, he was treated as a powerful being who could not be manipulated with money, honor, or status by the powerful people of the church and sent to Shiki. It's an incomprehensible decision to exclude somebody who adheres to the doctrine, but as long as the father in question only consents with, if such is the god's guidance, I can't talk too strongly about it. Shit, those damn power-hungry hyenas. I'll punch them all next time. Stop it. If you do that, you'll really get executed. When I stopped her, Cyan replied with, just kidding, as she sat down on the church bench improperly, with her legs folded in a triangle. Because of her outfit it was a dangerous pose, but I'm already too used to her to worry about it. Still, I'll move a bit to make sure that I don't see anything. Anyway, so you're coming with us tomorrow too, Cyan? Yeah, it seems like it. If possible, I'd like to stay at you guys' lodging. Would that be okay? It seems that Cyan doesn't want to stay at the lodgings prepared by the other side if possible. The provided accommodation would probably be the church or a housing for church personnel. Cyan, who has no good memories of the capital, probably doesn't want to stay there. But since she also knows our situation, she's hesitating to just carelessly barge in. There's a possibility that we might be staying at the Valentine family after all. It's fine, we're just staying at a hotel. You'll either stay in Lady Violet's room or Gray will come to my room, and you'll stay in his room. Is that so? Then I can impose on you? I don't mind. Just get permission from either of them. After responding to my words with understood, seeming to have thought that there was no point in cowering, she sprung up from the bench and straightened her back. Okay then. I guess I'll have to get ready for tomorrow already. Get ready for tomorrow? Did you even have any luggage to bring to the capital? That laugh pisses me off as usual. Hey. Cyan pointed at me with her finger, struck a pose and announced what she was about to do. Isn't it a given? I have to replenish my supply of father's essence, since I won't see him for a while. Don't try to put dirty clothes in your mouth, or put the recording equipment that you use to record sounds inside your body like my acquaintances. Ahaha, there's no way I would acquaintances? So somebody actually tried to do that? Yeah, and they're pretty close. The perverts who you call with familiarity, Bernie and Amby. Chapter 90, Expression Gray. Are you also going to the capital, Lady Apricot? Yeah, that's right, my disciple. Dusk in winter when the days were getting shorter. I received a joyful report from Lady Apricot, who visited my house looking as beautiful and dignified as ever, wearing a cloak that made her look like a black witch. Apparently, Lady Apricot would also be coming to the capital with us. Normally, the space distortion stone, the warp stone, requires an application and funds, so even if we went together, we would have to go to the capital separately. It was thanks to Lord Ash's kindness that she is now able to use it and come to the capital with us. In other words, the implication is something like, why not come and observe the school festival and consider enrolling? I have to thank Lord Ash for this. However, I remember you said that the capital is a corrupt space dominated by the conspiracies of many races and it didn't suit you. I certainly said so. But sometimes it is also important to be broad-minded. It is possible that a new path of magic can appear in a place seething with grudges. I see. I expected nothing less from you, Lady Apricot. I don't really understand it, but I guess it means that there are some things you can see only when you go to places that don't fit you. I've heard that there is a training method that involves using magic of other attributes in order to improve one's magical aptitude, so it must be something like that. Probably. Fufufu. Besides, I've heard that there is a devil cry of endless battle at the school festival, where the outsiders can also participate. It would not be a bad idea to participate and show off my power. You will definitely be the winner, Lady Apricot. Fufu, do not praise me too much. But one must be careful to not be arrogant. Even the rulers and gods of the past have ended up perishing because they let their guards down. Oh, my apologies, I did not consider that far. Do not worry about it. You just have to make use of this experience in the future. Lady Apricot. What a reliable person she is. She possesses a different kind of strength than Lord CLO and Lady Violet. She always shows me different worlds. I'm sure she'll show me new and fun things in the capital and at the academy this time too. You really do like Apricot, Gray. Just as I was enjoying a conversation with Lady Apricot, Lady Amber, who was brewing tea instead of me, said with a smile on her face. Yes, of course. Lady Apricot is an important person for me as a mentor both in magic and life. You even made tea for me. Thank you very much. Fu, good answer, my disciple. Thank you for the tea. My feelings are closer to respect than love, but it doesn't change the fact that I like her. When I honestly admitted my affection, Lady Apricot looked satisfied and bowed without forgetting to say thank you. Besides, I also have other goals in mind besides the school festival. Oh, what do you mean? The capital's cuisine is popular. I also plan to explore novel flavors using new seasonings that are not readily available in Shiki. You do love cooking, Lady Apricot. If you cook half-heartedly, your mana also won't be good. I am not going to force you, but you should also try to improve a little, my disciple. Your cooking doesn't taste very good. Ugh. Still, I think everybody would be worse compared to you, Lady Apricot. I don't know anybody who's better than you. I don't know many chefs outside Shiki, but Lady Apricot's cooking skills are unmistakably among the top class in Shiki. I admire her skills because she's able to produce anything from delicate flavors to deep flavors and ask her to teach me occasionally, but unfortunately, I can't seem to improve. Although Lady Apricot told me with a kind expression that the more I'll practice the better I'll become. As I was sipping my tea, I suddenly noticed that Lady Amber's expression was more grim than usual. It's unusual for Lady Amber to have that kind of look on her face. Gray, are Apricot's cooking skills that good? Yes, to the point that Lady Violet thought it was delicious and asked her to teach her. Miss Violet improves quickly, so it's worth teaching her. Is that so? Lady Violet, who lived in the city, also praised Lady Apricot's cooking, saying that it was on par with the city's chefs. I'm sure her skills will stand out in other places as well. Well, even I can't compete with my disciples' skills in brewing tea and coffee. Even with the same leaves and beans, they taste different when brewed by my disciple. Lady Amber's expression became even more mysterious as she thanked Lady Apricot with much more fervor. Thank you so much. Come to think of it, I also think that milady scent expression is the best when Gray's the one who brews tea instead of me and my brother. Maybe she also prefers apricots cooking more than mine. Just as I thought that she had a mysterious expression on her face, she put her hand on her chin and took a thinking pose. She was perhaps pondering something. But, as if she couldn't put her thoughts together well just in her mind, she muttered something quietly. Could it be that I wasn't able to bring out the best fragrance expression milady could ever produce? I don't know why, but for some reason it seems like Lady Amber was going in a strange direction. Apricot. Why? What's wrong, Miss Sunshine? You're suddenly very close. Lady Amber suddenly approached Lady Apricot, grabbed her shoulders and drew closer. Even Lady Apricot couldn't hide the confusion in her voice and expression due to this sudden development. Is it just my imagination, or was Lady Amber referred to as something strange just now? I will pay if need be. Please teach me how to cook. I don't really need money, but what happened so suddenly? I am embarrassed of myself. Until now I thought that I was able to draw out the best fragrance from that person with my cooking, but I realized that maybe that was just my complacency. Miss Amber, what do you mean by drawing out fragrance? I was also at a loss by her sudden change, unable to do anything. How strange. What happened for this woman who's usually calm, except for when she occasionally hugs me, to change so much? In other words, I would like to improve my cooking skills for milady's sake. I would like to ask you to teach me. I don't mind if that's the case, but I've heard that you're quite skilled. What should I teach you? Specifically, please let me smell you while you're cooking, apricot. I will steal your cooking skills with the taste of your scent. What are you talking about? I wonder what's driving Lady Amber. Chapter 91, Rule of 3. I am also going to the capital. Seriously. Dusk on a day when the days were getting shorter. Having finished the confirmations for tomorrow onwards, I was going around with Burnt to check if we had all necessary supplies. This was when Ms. Robot told me so. That's improper, milady. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I accidentally spoke improperly and was warned by Burnt. This won't do, I have to remain calm in any situation. But why is Ms. Robot suddenly coming to the capital? I'm happy to be able to go to the capital together with her, but she'll not only stand out in her current attire, she might even be mistaken for a monster and captured or subjugated, and if I remember correctly, she hates taking off her armor and showing her bare face. Or maybe she unknowingly made the royal family indebted to her, and it's somehow okay for her to walk around the capital. It's scary just how much of a possibility that is. I will not use warp stone. If I go, it will cause problems. Besides, I say capital, but I actually have business in the surrounding area. Is that so? In other words, you're not going with us? I will go with you until halfway. In that case, I suppose we will have to part ways with Lady Robot for a while. As long as you can't use the stone, there will inevitably be a difference in our travel time. No, it will take me 2 days to reach the capital from here, with breaks. So, we should be able to meet during the school festival. I want to retort and say that it would take horses and centaurs more than 10 days to reach the capital even if they kept running nonstop, but I'll refrain for now. I've become able to ignore it no matter what kind of specs she shows. Haha, you are also good at joking, Lady Robot. I am not joking. Ha 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 ha. You are very good at jokes. Burnt was desperately trying to look away, unable to believe it. What can I say? The time will come when he'll understand it. For example, sometimes she'd release a sharp, incomprehensible beam from her arm and cut down trees to provide wood for the elderly. For example, sometimes she'd take out a wounded 3-meter class Pegasus from inside her body and ask to have it treated. For example, she would bring back a giant kraken the size of the Hartfield mansion that she received as thanks for saving the sea god. Once you witness her in such situations a few times, you stop worrying about the details. Still, what business might you have near the capital? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. I do not mind. Ms. Robot's range of activities was wider than I thought, and she has been appearing in places I didn't even know of. Still, I heard that she was trying to avoid well-populated places near the capital so as to not cause confusion. I was curious about what kind of business she had in the capital, so when I asked her, she answered my question without hiding anything. First, I have to destroy a drug organization. We're starting big right off the bat. Apparently, a drug organization was trying to establish a stronghold near the capital, so she was first going to confirm the fact and then destroy them. I wonder how she's going to check? Does she have a lie detecting function? It feels like she might have. But if that's the first thing, there has to be more after that? Yes. Next, I have to pacify a group of Trents. Trent. Isn't that an upper sea level monster? It's dangerous to take them on alone. Ms. Robot will be fine. Yes. Will be a breeze. Bombing with God's staff will easily beat them. I don't understand what this God's staff thing is, but Ms. Robot will be fine. She had easily killed lower B-class monsters like wyverns before, so worrying about it is too late now. Rather, I feel like having somebody else accompany her would be more of a nuisance for her. According to Ms. Robot, things get more difficult when she's against upper B-class or A-class monsters. Lastly, I will enjoy the school festival. Will you be okay, Ms. Robot? Even though that sounds the easiest, it might actually be the most difficult. No way, is she saying that it's actually possible? First of all, she will definitely cause a commotion in her current form. If she wants to have fun, we would do everything to help. But there are limits to what we can do. However, telling her that taking off her armor and showing her face would solve all problems would be as impossible as telling Ivory to not get excited when looking at injuries, or telling Emerald to not ingest even a single drop of poison. Stealth mode doesn't make you completely invisible either, so she'll inevitably be found. No. With a little decoration, I can pass off a costume. It's difficult. You might be able to fool the outsiders, but you won't be able to deceive the school officials. From what I have heard, Ash is now a member of school festival committee. I see. If we ask Ash, who knows Ms. Robot, maybe we can pass it off as if he had requested her to mask herself to avoid the commotion. In that case, would it be better if I or Lord Cielo ask Ash? But can I even approach Ash, who's not only busy but also hostile towards me? In the worst case scenario, I just have to hide my face and will be fine. Then it'll be okay, yeah. Is that really fine? Winter is cold, so she can hide her body with clothes, and she can do something about her face with winter gear plus a costume. In the worst case scenario, we'll cover up for her. Milady's ability to respond. Her common sense has changed. No, am I the one who's strange? Does this mean that what I thought was common sense wasn't actually so common? Watching our conversation, Burnt had a distant look in his eyes. For some reason he seemed distressed, with a conflicted expression on his face. I wonder what happened. That being said, Milady's bouncy voice as she speaks with her friend is still wonderful. Really, what in the world happened to him? Chapter 92 Pre-Trip Jitters. Somehow our numbers have multiplied. It was the morning of the day we were set to depart for the capital. When I initially received the invitation, I had planned for just the Hartfield family to attend the festival, but before I knew it, many more people had decided to join us. A sulking Cyan, whose bad mood was a result of her temporary separation from the priest. A boastful Apricot, whose visit to the capital made all the children in Shiki green with envy. The chaperones Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber, whose presence inside the carriage gave rise to a lot of concerns. Robot. Just like that, the number of people leaving for the capital had more than doubled. We had fewer issues with transportation as House Valentine had made preparations and sent over a rather luxurious carriage, but as our numbers had increased, we would obviously have less room despite the extravagance. This was a cause for concern as it made me worry if Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber would find the cramped space a little too stimulating. As for me, I find it a tad uncomfortable that the male-to-female ratio is a bit skewed in favor of the latter. I just hope the air inside the carriage isn't filled with the scent of makeup or perfume. By the way, will you be riding with us, robot? I will be flying parallel to the carriage until we reach the next town. I see. Take care not to spook any peddlers or people passing by. Knowing Robot, it's probably not easy for her to fly at a relaxed pace. Even so, since she wants to tag along with us, I don't have any complaints. The more the merrier on a trip. Not to mention having her by our side considerably reduces threats from monsters, so she's all the more welcomed. I'm okay with you wanting to attend the Academy Festival, but make sure not to get yourself arrested, alright? Don't worry, I will only be dropping by if I have time to spare. Oh, if you do decide to come, let me know. If I'm free, I'll vouch for you. Thank you. If there happen to be any tournaments open to people unaffiliated with the Academy, I might participate. I will be counting on you. Then don't. Your opponent will die. Robot participating in the Academy tournament, I believe a duel, sounds dangerous on many different levels. Though I'm sure she'd hold back and not injure her opponent, that still doesn't erase the concern of the arena mysteriously getting blown to smithereens. I was kidding. Should the situation call for, you can count on me to have your back. Count on you for what? Like confronting the sender of the invitation or Violet's dual partner from before. That's yes, she's got a point. I would love to get her help in dealing with them, but I think they are problems I need to somehow resolve using my own strength. We especially can't afford to screw things up with the sender, who might try to make life difficult for us. Thanks, Robot. I'll request your help if there's an emergency, but other than that, those issues are something we need to resolve by ourselves. I know, but I want you to remember, if my precious friend is in a crisis, then I won't just stand still twiddling my thumbs. Friend, I'll admit it makes me happy to hear that. If possible, the best solution would be to take shelter somewhere safe like one's parents' home until the storm passes. But I'm grateful for this opportunity to learn who our allies are. Even if Robot only considers Lady Violet a friend, it still makes me happy. Robot nodded in affirmation and continued to talk as if she were merely laying out facts. I just have to cause an uproar by unleashing maximum cluster cannon upon your signal with enough vigor to usurp the throne. Knock it off. You're scaring me because I wouldn't put it past you to do something like that. I feel like at the end you just say, "Ack." Seeing as they've driven us into a corner, there's only one way out of this. Time to blow myself up. I totally would. I come back to life though. So you would. And you'd also come back to life. I can't tell if she's serious or joking because she's speaking normally, but for the love of God she's gotta stop. I do appreciate that she'd go that far for us though. According to the events in that Otome game, Ring of Fire, the dragon slumbering in the depths of the Academy is supposed to wake up sometime soon. Even so, I wish Robot would stop trying to take its place in plunging the citizens of the kingdom in fear. If something like that happens, then us and all of Shiki's residents would end up being fugitives. Then you make sure to stand firm so that doesn't come to pass, alright? Well, if she threatens, cheers for me like that, then I gotta do my best. There are a lot of pressing issues like the sender of the invitation, the love interest starting from High Highness Vermilion, the hostile Academy students, House Valentine, and last but not the least Lady Violet's worst enemy, Ms. Mary, who has charmed everyone. Either way, I just have to do my utmost to support Lady Violet to the best of my abilities. Mwahaha. Hearken. My name will echo all throughout the capital very soon. This invitation will be my first step towards making history. Never mind all that. Just gulp these down in time of need. Here's a potion to put your body in suspended animation. a revival potion and a potion to stop revival. Also take these, they are pellets made from puffer fish poison. You bastard, what are you trying to do to me? Hey sister pervert. Take this. What is it, Dr. Perverted Groper? Medicine? A salve I made myself that can heal any kind of wound. It'll be of use if you get hurt over there. It would be best if you never have to use it, so make sure to look after yourselves. None of your business, but thanks. I'll show you I'll have no need for it. By the way, the salve is considered illegal in the capital, so you'd best keep it hidden. What the hell are you trying to make me carry? Gray, the promised eternally radiant boy. Take care in the capital. And especially watch what you eat, alright? Thanks for your concern, Lord Bly. Is there anything you'd like me to bring back as a souvenir? The clothes you wore in the capital. No, I mean any simple clothing item. You don't have to go out of your way, though. Clothing? Then you won't be disappointed. If anything should happen to you, I'll charge the capital armed with all kinds of weapons including magic swords and tools. Oh. Thank you? Sitting close to milady, sitting close to milady. No, calm down. Calm down. Take deep breaths and expel all the air from your body so it can be filled with milady and Gray's scents instead. Amber? What is it? What has got you so excited? Sharing the same space as milady. Sharing the same space as milady. No, calm down. Calm down, take deep breaths and expel all the air from your body so it can be filled with milady and Gray's sounds instead. Burnt? What is it? What has got you so excited? My list of worries grows ever longer, but it also means that we've got just as many allies, so it's okay, it's alright. Well, to start with, I should make sure we don't lose our heads. CLO, if you find any fine ladies in the capital, introduce them to me. I'm really into dwarves at present, but I'm fine with any species. Wait, I changed my mind. I'll come along and appraise their value myself. Also, how do you feel about making love with me in the carriage, Amber? Okay, for now, I should start with knocking the living daylights out of this bastard to shut him up. Chapter 93, Mimicking Reality. As I was rocked by the carriage, which didn't sway much despite the speed and the road condition due to some kind of magical anti-swaying divine protection, I smiled at Gray and Apricot. The two were looking outside excitedly. I let out a small sigh as I watched Lady Violet and Robot, who was flying next to us, converse. What's wrong, CLO? You looked at Io and Ray and sighed. Then Cyan, who was wearing a normal habit that sisters wear instead of her usual habit with a deep slip because she was going to the capital, who looked like she had difficulty moving, noticed me and asked. By the way, Cyan's luggage also includes her usual clothes. I was just thinking that they're laughing so happily right now, but they've been called to the capital because of me. I just hope they don't end up hating it. They'll probably end up meeting him too. Oh, that piece of shit? I can see why you would be worried. I agree with your evaluation, but I don't think a sister should be saying those words. I replied in a way that only Cyan could hear and understand what I was talking about. She immediately spat out an insult without hesitation. I decided to try my best so no harm would come their way after being told by Robot, but I still can't help feeling anxious. In particular, I just don't think that the person who called us there under the name of the royal family will stay quiet. I also won't put it past His Highness Vermillion's group to refrain from attacking Lady Violet. Ash had reconsidered some things after seeing Lady Violet and his attitude softened, but I shouldn't have such expectations for the other love interests. And Mary, was it? Io's dual partner who's leading various men, including the third prince, by the nose. You're going to be meeting her anyway, aren't you? Yeah, you're right. She seems to be popular as a saint in the academy. A saint, huh? I look forward to it. Listening to my words, Cyan snorted quietly. Certainly, it's not weird to react in that way when you hear that a 15-year-old girl is called a saint. I can't help but wonder what she thinks of it as a sister herself. Mary Sue. She specializes in alchemy magic, and already has a promising future despite only being a freshman at Azalea Academy. She's a virtuous woman, who has talent for both literary and military arts, is gifted with not only intelligence but also beauty. She has strong combat abilities, also has excellent magical aptitude in all fields other than alchemy. She doesn't hesitate to save others, is free-spirited and not bound by common sense. She is said to be able to see things from all perspectives and at the same time, She mysteriously makes others want to protect her. She's a super perfect human woman who has attracted various famous people on the campus, including His Highness Vermilion. She is said to become the queen or an important government official in the future, at least according to Ms. Creamhild. Wow, what an amazing girl. I'd love to meet her. Don't pick a fight with her just because you don't like her. I won't. It's the worst thing to try and drag somebody that's above you down to your level. There have been many times when you've picked a fight with me, saying that you couldn't allow me to be happy. I'm just doing it because it's you. It's not like I can stop thinking and treat everybody the same way. Things will definitely work out, right? She's right, and knowing my physical abilities, I'm sure Cyan also thinks that I can deal with her well enough. I've been helped by Cyan's personality and way of acting many times in the past, so I don't want her to change either. Still treating everybody the same way. Huh? Suddenly, I felt caught up in Cyan's words and remembered something. This Mary girl got her current evaluation not only because of her high specs, but also because she didn't make a mistake in dealing with those annoying people. According to my knowledge, dealing with love interests starting with His Highness is very annoying. If you say the right words at the wrong time, it won't resonate with them, and if you make a little mistake in responding to their actions, they'll just suddenly disappear on their own. In Ring of Fire, you can't just make the same choices and expect them to work in addition to choices. You would have to pay attention to your actions so they flow well with the narration. If she's been acting by being aware of all those things, that would be great. After all, she has saved many people. But, hey Cyan, am I an ugly man? What's wrong all of a sudden? Nothing, I was just curious. It's a question, so please answer honestly. Because she's a sister, Cyan can't lie if someone asks her a question. It's because she's following a teaching that says to accept everything sincerely and show people the way by replying to their questions. Members of the corrupted church don't care about that kind of teaching, but Cyan follows it properly, so she'll have to answer even if it's a difficult question. Well, beauty is subjective. You're slightly above average maybe? You have nice features, so you're not ugly at least. Just by human standards though. I see, thanks for taking the trouble to answer. Don't worry about it. After answering my question honestly, Cyan didn't pursue why I asked such a question in the first place. She must have decided that since I did not state the reason myself, there was no point in asking. There's a gap from how she usually actually acts, but Cyan is pretty good at her work as a sister. Her normal clothes and actions completely ruin it though. This is just a weird hypothetical, and if it's hard to answer, you can just think of it as me talking to myself. Sure. I'll just be reading the book I brought with me, Cyan said and opened a popular novel to read. She probably doesn't intend to read it seriously, but this must mean that since she's reading I can just start talking. Suppose there are multiple stories that feature the same characters but have different endings, and one of the characters always ends up miserable with no ways to be saved. Sounds like a sadistic story. The readers also start to think, I guess that's just how that character is meant to be, and while they still feel sorry for them, they eventually start to think that it's deserved, and as the story progresses, they start to feel less concerned. It's scary how easy we can get used to things. What if one of those readers ended up traveling a little too far away and found themselves in a space similar to the story and thought that they could do the same to the character that always ended up miserable? Is it a simulated reality? I guess you can say that. I don't know why you would be talking to yourself about something like that, but a girl like that might be surprisingly fragile. Inside the carriage that swayed lightly, in this space where no one but Cyan could hear my words, I was concerned about a girl, who I didn't know was an enemy or not. Chapter 94, Are Those Guys for Real? By everybody around, the carriage we rode on ran at such a fast speed that we arrived faster than we would with the carriage we usually use. We managed to reach the neighboring town by noon. I decided to kill two birds with one stone and greet the lord of this town and exchange information with them while I was here. During that time I was away from everybody for a short while. I'm sorry for making you wait. Gray, who could not hide his desire to quickly leave, reacted to my arrival in the waiting room of the Space Distortion Stone, where those who were going to other places including the capital were gathered. He straightened his back, and Apricot watched him with a smile. As for Mr. Burnt, he was trying his best to not start smiling after hearing that sound. No, it's fine. We were also able to apply to use the space distortion stone quicker. It will take a little more time though. Lady Violet responded to my arrival and rushed over to me. We had a light conversation about how my talk with the lord of this town went. This made others distracted from us and they resumed chatting about things in the capital with those close to them. Lady Violet. What's wrong? I looked at Lady Violet next to me, and after confirming that nobody was paying attention to us, I casually called out to her. If something happens, please rely on me. Lady Violet also replied casually, so I also continued speaking, trying to keep my composure as much as possible. It's not like I think of her as weak, but I can't help feeling worried about her. I don't know if it's hostility or pity, but as long as I'm her husband, I'm sure many people will be looking at me the same way they did during the investigation in Shiki. I also have enemies who are clearly hostile towards me in the capital, and Lady Violet might also get implicated because of that. That's why I thought that I had to protect her. Fufu, yeah, I'll do that. So if anything happens, you can rely on me too. However, when she answered me with a smile full of composure, I was inadvertently taken aback. Oh no, I have to calm down. I might have been agitated because I'm returning to the capital for the first time in a while, and because Robot told me to get a grip. To begin with, she's far superior to me in all aspects except physical abilities, pathetically enough. She also has lived in noble society from birth, which is swirling with conspiracies. She has done so far longer than I have, with most people who approached her aiming for her status. When she came to Shiki and when the students from Azalea Academy came to investigate, she was only caught off guard because she was in a vulnerable state. She's usually a strong woman, not a damsel in distress in need of constant protection. My mother in this world was only selfish towards her husband and children. She forced one-sided narcissistic love on her sons, so I had completely forgotten about what was normal. A married couple is supposed to support each other, to become a true family, instead of only one side constantly protecting the other one. Despite giving her an arrogant lecture about how she could abandon me if she wanted to, I had completely lost sight of my surroundings. First, I want to do something for her to thank her for making me realize that fact, but unfortunately all I have on hand is a change of clothes and a bag for souvenirs for the people of Shiki. It doesn't seem like I'll be able to give her something to express my gratitude. To start with, is the idea of giving her something to express my gratitude for making me realize something even right? It might not be strange. After all, it's gratitude for her words and actions, which made me realize. I might as well respond to her words with the same initiative. Lady Violet, shall we kiss? Huh. So I took the plunge and suggested a kiss. WWWWW, what are you talking about? Thinking back on it, Lady Violet and I might be a married couple, but we haven't even kissed yet. This is a waste of our sparkling gold rings on our left ring fingers. I don't intend to say that intimate skinship and sexual contact is the only proof of love, but I would say that an affectionate kiss between two people is one of the representatives of proof of love. I feel ashamed. I thought that I subconsciously looked down on you, Lady Violet. I was thinking of you as somebody I had to protect. Oh, I'm happy that you're trying to protect me, but how is that connected to kissing? That's why I decided that we should kiss to show that we're equal. Lord Cielo, did you break down from the stress of going to the capital? Lady Violet always looked dignified in my eyes, but now for some reason her lips look sexy. I want to steal away those mesmerizing lips that she has probably never allowed anybody to touch right this instant. I've seen lines like this in gal games and otome games, but that line of thought which I was always skeptical of, is what I'm experiencing right now. Besides, there are other people around us right now. It doesn't have to be here and now, but somewhere else instead. Do you not want to do it with me? It's unfair to say it like that, Lord Cielo. I don't care if it's unfair. Also, people around us. I don't know what she's talking about. I can only see Lady Violet right now. It's strange. I took a step closer towards Lady Violet and brought my face closer to her. Then Lady Violet's face turned red and she took a half step back, so I took another step closer. Lady Violet, Lord Cielo. It's my first time kissing a woman I like. In my previous life, the CEO of the company I worked for and my friend often made fun of me for that, but I didn't really have a good impression of kissing. I haven't dated any woman, so it was truly an unknown realm for me. But it's about to become a reality. I feel happy knowing that Lady Violet is going to be the first person I experience it with. Hey, come on. You better not be about to make out in front of all of us. I'd like to give you my blessing, but you better do it somewhere else besides this place, which has no ounce of romantic atmosphere and is full of strangers. And Cyan got mad at us. Looking back on it later, just what was I doing? Let's do it somewhere else with a little more romantic atmosphere. I don't want to have our first kiss in a waiting room full of strangers. Hey Gray, can I ask something? Yes, what's wrong, Lord Burnt? Milady and Lord Cielo, are they always like that? Getting embarrassed over a single kiss and panicking. I'm sorry, I don't know. I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it's not something you would do in front of others. I was just thinking how innocent they are. As if they hadn't done it much. No, rather than not having done it much, Lord Cielo mother and father haven't even kissed once. What? Seriously? Seriously. Chapter 95, Getting By. Looks like it's time, shall we? Alright. Let's. I could feel a strange awkwardness between me and Lady Violet, but as the preparations for the warp seemed to be complete, I signaled the others to come closer to the warp stone. Well, the awkwardness was largely because of the kiss incident from earlier, so the situation should resolve itself once we get to the capital. Next, Hartfield party of 7 who re-registered. The personnel in charge of guiding travelers towards the warp stone called out to us, and her professional mask slipped for a second as if she had realized something after seeing us. I'm afraid she may have witnessed my failed attempt at a kiss. Her reaction made me and Lady Violet flush, and she must have realized that if she was untactful and acted embarrassed, it would only make the situation all the more embarrassing for us. Thus she quickly composed herself. I handed over our identification papers and application. Yes, everything is in order. Please stand near the stone, everyone. Back in work mode, the personnel checked all of our documents quickly and urged us to get closer to the warp stone. We did as instructed, and the personnel, after making sure everyone was where they should be, signaled for the warp stone to be fed with mana. It came alive with a whir and started to glow brightly. Lord Cielo, Lady Violet called out to me in the short instant it takes to warp to the capital and said, I hope we can make fun memories on the trip, and grasped my hand. I'm not sure if I should attribute the gesture to her nerves or if it was her way of reciprocating for the attempted kiss, but it strengthened my resolve to do everything in my power to make her wish come true. I responded by squeezing her hand. The light died down and I could sense the shift in the atmosphere. We were standing on the familiar magic circle in the capital, our destination, and it's something I've had the opportunity to experience many times. I suppose the warp was a success. And we're here. Welcome to the capital. Gray looked a little flabbergasted as it was his first warping experience, but realizing that the personnel wasn't the same person as before, and that the surrounding scenery had changed, his expression turned to one of apparent joy. Lady Apricot. So this is what a warp feels like. Are we already in the capital? You bet we are, my dear disciple. We arrived in this place of which we hadn't seen a shadow or shape up until a moment ago. I'd only ever heard people talk about it before. But it really is amazing. The personnel, who must have witnessed countless excited kids, looked on amused, at Gray and the others in high spirits. Besides Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber, even Lady Violet and Cyan observed the kids make merry with a smile on their face. Gray took a quick look around while speaking animatedly, and seemed to have remembered something. He turned to Apricot and asked her a question, or rather looked for confirmation. I heard contemporary, chic socialites in the capital often transform themselves into alluring sirens for the purpose of finding gentlemen with the 3 highs. Is that true? Who taught you all those words? I'm not too familiar with those terms myself, so I can't even say something in retort. In other words, swayed by public opinion, Venus, goddess of beauty, Rib Eve, leaves no stone unturned in her search to mate. Be united with Earth, Adam. In the capital. Oh, I see. So that's what Gray meant. I didn't understand a thing because Gray used a lot of big words, but thanks to Cotty, I can now make sense of what he was talking about. In other words, trendy, beautiful women proactively look for the most eligible bachelors. I mean, where did Gray even hear all this? From Mr. Yellow? That does it. I'm not getting him any souvenirs. Pardon me, milady. How is it that everybody understood Lady Apricot's explanation? HM? Oh right. I suppose you two still have a hard time understanding her. What? Does that mean you do, milady? I reckon I do. Even if the words are comprehensible, if the listener can't make head or tails of someone's way of speech, they'd just be confused despite understanding the individual meaning of the words being spoken. Excuse me. Here's the application written on behalf of the whole party. Please verify if everything is filled in correctly. Yes, let me see. Everything appears to be in order. Through the corner of my eye, I could see Gray raring to charge outside and Lady Violet desperately trying to hold him down. I handed over the application form that confirmed our identities as representatives from Shiki to a personnel, who appeared to be in charge, and someone who seemed a little confused after listening to our conversation a few minutes ago. Yes, I don't see any problem with it. Well then, we wish you the best time in the capital. All of the staff sent us off with a deep bow. I asked everyone to be responsible for their own luggage and turned around to pick up my own, when Mr. Burnt snatched it away from my hand. So I figured I'd hold on to Lady Violet's, but Miss Amber had already beaten me to the punch. I was left wondering how to proceed when I noticed Apricot had no luggage in her hand either. I was wondering what her deal was, as she didn't have a butler who could carry her things for her. Apricot, where's your stuff? As long as I have the clothes on my back, my hat, my staff, the 3 sacred treasures, and my wallet, the only other thing I need is my smarts. Do you plan to wear the same set of clothes every day? I just need to get them laundered and dried using magic in my room. You see, I really wanted to travel light. Is she for real? Chapter 96, More Troublesome Than Simple-Minded Criminals. Wow. Lord CLO, Lady Violet. Look at all those buildings we don't have in Shiki. The cityscape is beautiful too. Yeah, you're right. And the people, they're like garbage. That's not a good word to say, Gray. When we left the building with the magic circle, which was the warp destination of the Rapstone, Gray started looking around the capital. Since it was his first time visiting, his eyes were shining, while he kept saying words that I don't know where he learnt from. Gray is usually quiet despite the unhinged comments he makes occasionally, but when I look at him like this, he truly looks like a boy of his age. That's right, my disciple. This place is rubbish. You can't just use a different word and think you'll be fine. Although Apricot spoke in the same way as usual, she seemed more fidgety and restless than usual. She wasn't reacting as conspicuously as Gray, but Apricot herself seemed to have also been looking forward to coming to the capital. Wow! The scenery changes quickly in the capital. By the way, CLO, what plans do you have? We're planning to leave our luggage at the lodging and do some sightseeing. We'll be busy with the school festival and greetings starting tomorrow. I see, then we'll be splitting up here for a while. I mean, they asked me to come here out of the blue and want me to sing and appear in plays starting tomorrow? Like, what are they even thinking? Cyan seemed a little depressed, perhaps because she had felt the passage of time after noticing that the cityscape had changed after the last time she was here, along with having to greet people in a place she didn't want to go to. If she goes to the church like this, she'll either cause trouble again like the time when she was sent to Shiki, or she'll get stressed out from being looked at from a distance. Still, Ms. Cyan singing. I'd love to see that. HM? I see. I've never sung in front of you, Io. I will also be singing during the school festival, so if you want, you can come see me, or not. They'll probably make me sing at the side, so I don't do anything unnecessary. If you're going to sing from the side, it might also be easier for me to watch from the side. I'm grateful because it would be hard for me to go inside the academy to watch you sing in the middle. You sure have a way of saying things. After talking with Lady Violet for a little longer, Cyan left us with a see you later. See you later, because she is going to be staying at the same place as us. I'm a bit worried about her though, because she mentioned that she would run away even if she was chained up. Anyway, first we have to deliver our luggage. Our chaperones, Mr. Burnt and Miss Amber, might not mind it, but it would be better if everybody could move around lighter. Gray, I understand that you want to go sightseeing, but first we need to check our accommodation and entrust our luggage to them. Ah yes. Understood, Lord Seal. When I look at Gray, who's carrying his luggage with a big smile on his face, and is so excited that I might lose him if I relax, I just feel like it's one of the best things about coming to the capital, Lord CLO. Yes, you're right. Seeing Gray, who's honestly and innocently happy, makes me think that maybe coming to the capital was a good idea. Damn. I shouldn't have come to the capital. This was the second thing I thought after oh shit, when we met a certain person on our way to our accommodation to drop off our luggage. I have good memories and good friends of the capital, but I also have bad memories and enemies here. Lady Violet definitely still has many enemies, and I was also prepared for the nobles to gossip about her from afar since her engagement with His Highness Vermilion had been nullified. I had also taken some precautions in case we met other characters from the Ring of Fire or Ms. Mary, who was her dual opponent. Yes, I had taken precautions, but, a saint? We saw a saint. Wonderful, simply wonderful. I had thought that the historic Azalea Academy had fallen low when I heard that a commoner girl would be the lead in a traditional drama. But, yeah, we were mistaken. She's truly an actress deserving of going down in history. Shit, can't we get special seats now? I hadn't taken any measures in this direction. Looking at the men and women of all ages crying in front of us, we were confused. Apparently, just a few minutes ago, the stars of the school festival play were giving a short performance here for light publicity. And those who saw the performance were so overcome with emotions that they kept weeping as if they had seen God. Frankly speaking, it was an extremely bizarre scene. We seemed to have arrived after those main actors had already left though. Listen. The main character of this play is a wonderful woman named Miss Mary. It's no exaggeration to say that if you miss her performance, you'll miss 90% of the fun of the school festival. So please come. You who missed her now can come too. Tickets are all sold out now and you can only watch while standing, but still truly worth it. Yeah, sure. I'll come if I have time. That's almost 10 times the loss. I suppressed my desire to retort. After I received a flyer for the play from a cute, little animal-like, silver-haired pretty boy with red eyes in front of me, and smiled insincerely, he bowed with satisfaction and left to hand the flyer to the next person. We'll have to take him on? I muttered quietly as I looked at the bizarre scene in front of me. It was Silva Seifred, one of the love interests in Ring of Fire, who had given me the flyer. It was the right decision to have Lady Violet stay behind and come to see what was going on because I had a bad premonition. As I watched the scene that looked like brainwashing, I was concerned about what was going to happen next. No matter how things go, it won't end up pretty. Lord Cielo, is this a common occurrence in the capital? As if. Chapter 97. A non-stop overflowing black aura. I didn't see anything. I wanted to tell myself that and ignore the bizarre sight from earlier, but things are never that easy. Although I didn't see her directly, one of the factors responsible for creating the scene from earlier was Ms. Mary. As long as I have to go to the school festival, I have to know if she's involved. From what I've heard, this situation was created because the promotional play was amazing. Looking at the flyer I received earlier, Ms. Mary and His Highness Vermilion are in the lead roles, so in this case, both of their performances were probably excellent, but Ms. Mary must have stood out more. I can hear the voices praising His Highness, but if anything, the voices of worship towards Ms. Mary are louder. Honestly, it's scary. The school festival play, huh? During my time, only the nobles could star in the play during the school festival. In other words, because it was a play performed at Azalea Academy, which had a long history and pride, the ones participating in it also had to be those of high social status. It was the same way in Ring of Fire too, and depending on the route, the heroine would be the first commoner to play the main character. But this year's leading role seems to belong to Ms. Mary, a commoner. In that case, it would be better to not see the play. I was a bit interested since I didn't get to see the play during the school festival, because that was when my incident happened, but if Lady Violet heard that His Highness Vermilion and Ms. Mary are in leading roles, she might break down crying. I felt a little prickle again. I wonder why. It's true that I don't want to see Lady Violet burst in tears, but this feels like a different kind of prickle. Let's go, Lord Seal. Gray, who called out to me as if to interrupt my thoughts, peeked at the flyer I was holding, and when he saw the contents, his voice and expression became displeased. Even though he seemed to have been having fun just a second ago, you can't see that he's in a bad mood from the sidelines, but I can tell that he's in a bad mood because the inflection of his voice has become lower than usual. What's wrong, Gray? You seem to be in a bad mood. No, sir, it's nothing like that. Looking at the way he's averting his eyes and tries to leave quickly, I can't help but doubt his words. But why would he be in a bad mood? Oh, I see. You're right, let's go to the lodgings quickly. Or might not be able to do any sightseeing. Yes, let's do so. Lord CLO, is there a way to go around here to take a little detour instead of going straight? It seems like the people who are advertising have already taken this road. If I remember right. Yeah, we can do that. The road where those are advertising will probably be crowded, so let's turn right. For now, let's meet up with Lady Violet and others. Gray responded to my proposal with approval, and quickly returned to the place where Lady Violet was waiting a little further away. When I see how he can't hide his feelings well like that, it makes me realize that he's still only 11 years old. Well, of course he'd be in a bad mood if the person who dumped his mother and the person who stole her fiancé are playing the lead roles. Moreover, he saw people look forward to it because of their advertisement. Gray must be feeling complicated. I folded the flyer sloppily, and once it got small enough, I burnt it with fire magic that even I could use. Thinking about it, regardless of whether Ms. Mary is a reincarnator or not, the content of this flyer wasn't very favorable for me. I feel bad for whoever made it, but it's something I'll see anyway even if I didn't like it. It was something I was given for free anyway, so let's use it to relieve some stress. Once it burnt to some extent, I blew on it to extinguish the fire and threw what was left in the nearby trash can. I turned on my heels to go back to where Lady Violet and others were waiting and was about to follow Gray. Why did you throw it away? I got involved with a crazy guy in a sense. The one who appeared in front of me while glaring at me was a short-statured boy, not even 160 centimeters tall, with silver hair and aggressive red eyes, who handed me the flyer earlier. In other words, one of the love interests Silva Seifred. He is the only commoner among the love interests, who was rumored to use magic that was said to be a cursed power when he first entered the school. He had a gloomy personality, but because the heroine interacted with him without discrimination, he returned to his original bright personality. He is the character who is popular because of the gap between his cute personality and the strength he showed sometimes. That boy is now glaring at me. That was thoughtless of me. I don't know much about him, but since he talked with me cheerfully earlier, he should be able to control the power that's said to be cursed. If he became cheerful after interacting with Miss Creamhild. No, Miss Mary, he probably loves her. Yet, he would become jealous of the person who destroyed the flyer featuring Miss Mary. Why did you burn it? It was a flyer featuring my beloved Miss Mary. Sure, Miss Mary's face might not be drawn on it, but there are beautiful 7 letters making up Mary Sue written on it. I'm sure you didn't see the play earlier, but that doesn't give you a good reason to burn it. How do you think she would feel if she saw what you did? Wouldn't she feel hurt if the flyer of a play she was taking apart and got burnt? No, Miss Mary would be sadder about the fact that something we and the others worked so hard to make and give out to excite people was burnt more than the fact that a flyer with her name on it was burnt. It's because Miss Mary is a very kind person, do you understand? Miss Mary is very kind. She's somebody who can express her joy, anger and sadness for others, to the extent that sometimes I wish she would treat herself better. She has saved so many people, not just me but also other people with high social status like His Highness. We all accept her, respect her and love her. Such a wonderful person like her is trying to liven up our school festival by starring in a school play where only nobles could perform so everybody could enjoy the school festival regardless of their social status. What's more, even though she was busy playing the leading role, she worked tirelessly to help her class prepare for the school festival, and made it into something wonderful. In order to respond to Ms. Mary's efforts in beauty, we have continued to advertise until the last moment to help fulfill Ms. Mary's wish to liven up the school festival. And one of the ways we're helping is by handing out flyers like this. I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. What in the world is this? I can feel some kind of a dark aura from him. If I remember right, Silva had a lot of scenes of being jealous of other love interests, but what's with envy in this direction? Silva grabbed my right hand, pulled it towards him and once again put the flyer from earlier in my right hand. That's why, please don't burn it the next time, okay? Yes. Silva handed me the flyer with a big smile and I had no choice but to accept it obediently. Chapter 98. He also cherishes him. Miss Mary has beautiful golden hair and the eyes the same color as mine, but her red eyes are incomparably more beautiful than mine. even though she is so beautiful that it's absurd to even feel lust towards her. She also has a transient feeling about her that makes you want to protect her. She's the kind of a woman that makes you feel like you would never meet a woman better than her. For someone like you who has never met her, this might sound like a big exaggeration, but if you would like to confirm the truth of my words, please come to the dash, please let go of Lord Cello's arm. As I was receiving the flyer from Silva with a big smile, Gray returned with a somewhat forceful tone, perhaps worried about me. Silva didn't know who had arrived at first, but after noticing that it was the person who had been next to me earlier through his appearance and his face, he calmed the black aura he had been letting out until now, let go of my arm and replied, "I'm sorry I got emotional because this person threw away the flyer." As expected, being forceful wasn't a good idea. When Silva explained this to Gray, he also bowed deeply and apologized to me. He had become so docile, it was hard to think he was ranting rapidly a moment ago. That black aura was probably mana that started the rumors about Silva wielding cursed power. The mana itself is imbued with the power of a curse and black magic, so no matter what kind of magic he uses, it will be more powerful than normal, but it would corrode his mind. How should I put it? It's strangely creepy compared to normal magic. Originally, he was almost devoured by his powers, but he's able to become better at controlling it thanks to the heroine. This allowed the rumors to be dispelled. He's accepted by the students of Azalea Academy, and became more cheerful as time went on. We would learn the secrets of how he was able to enter Azalea Academy through his route. Or that's how it's supposed to go. Then if you'd like, you can come to watch too. A lot of amazing people will be performing, so it's worth seeing. Instead of forcing it on him, he held out a flyer in front of Gray and encouraged him to take it voluntarily. It's a very stubborn way of passing it to him. Gray. My apologies. I will gratefully accept your flyer. It looked like Gray would stubbornly refuse to accept the flyer and make things even more awkward, so I called his name and urged him to take it. I feel bad for Gray, but he has to accept it now. Yep, then I'll be waiting for you. Silva was satisfied that his flyer was accepted and left with a cute smile that would charm anybody who saw it. It was a smile I was also familiar with from the Ring of Fire. But what exactly was that dark personality from earlier? Let's go, Lord Seal. HM? Oh yeah, we can't keep them waiting forever. I'm concerned about Silva, but I can't get distracted by the questions in front of me and forget about my precious family. Gray also seems a little grumpy, so let's go back quickly and enjoy sightseeing in the capital. It's fun for me to see the famous spots of the capital which I haven't visited in a while with Lady Violet, Apricot and the others. Things will be depressing enough from tomorrow, so I want to at least enjoy this day before bed. But let me just cheat a little bit before we regroup. Wait a minute, Gray. Yes, what's wrong? I told Gray to wait, bought 2 of it nearby and gave one to Gray. This is a thin stick-shaped bread dough with cream in it? It's a food called crone. What I handed him was a crone, a croissant baked into a cylinder and filled with a cream used for cream puffs. The bottom part was wrapped in paper so that it was easy to eat while walking. Eat it before we go back to Lady Violet and the others. Okay. Thank you for the meal. Although confused by my sudden action, Gray timidly took a bite of crone, perhaps unable to contain his curiosity towards food he was seeing for the first made and the smell of freshly made pastries. It's delicious. I'm glad you like it. After he took a single bite, all his previous apprehension and bad mood disappeared, changing into a big smile like when we first arrived in the capital. Yeah, as expected, seeing him like this makes me happier. Does the fact that it has your name mean that you're the one who invented it, Lord Cielo? Wrong. He would probably believe me if I told him that he was right, but I have to deny it. He's so engrossed in eating that he's saying incomprehensible things. While watching over him, I ate crone for the first time in a while, enjoying it slowly and feeling moved that the taste almost hadn't changed from the time I was a student. Gray quickly finished eating and was moved by his first encounter with something sweet. He was moved enough that he would probably ask for the recipe and make it when we go back to Shiki. It's a secret from Lady Violet. Okay? Why? I want Mother to experience this taste too. We'll show it to her, but the fact that you ate it now is a secret. Get it? This is a secret between us. A secret only between us? Yeah. Besides, if we tell Lady Violet, She'll get mad at you for eating it on your own before dinner. What? It's unfair to say that after making me eat it. I quickly dodged the flustered Gray, and after finishing the crone, I stole the wrapper Gray was holding and put it in a nearby trash can along with the wrapper I was holding. When I told him that I was going back first, he followed behind me despite his confusion. Gray was worried about what to do until we returned to where Lady Violet was waiting, but he didn't seem to be in any particular distress. Violet didn't seem to have heard about the commotion a moment ago, and was chatting with Apricot, while looking at the products at a nearby stall. When she noticed my arrival, she stopped shopping and approached me with a beautifully executed short run. Lord Cielo, what was that commotion about in the What's Wrong, Lord Cielo? You seem tired, but you look like you're having fun. Well, I was just thinking that the capital was going to be more difficult than I thought. Did something happen? I'll tell you while we walk. Let's go to our lodgings first. Do you mind if we take a little detour? I see. If you say so, I don't mind, Lord Cielo. Also, Gray seems to be in a strangely good mood. Hasn't he been like that since a while ago? That's true, but I'm sorry, but I cheated a little. Lady Violet treasures Gray. But since he's also my precious family, it should be fine to cheat a little and have a shared secret together. What's wrong, Gray? You smell different from usual. It's nothing. Let's go quickly. His voice and heartbeat are different from usual. I see, so that's what it is. Lord Cielo loves Gray too. This sweet smell, judging from his body temperature, aroma, and nutrition fragrance. I see there are many attractive foods here. What might you be talking about? I have no idea what you are alluding to. Fufu, how cute. Hey, Mr. Burnt, Ms. Amber. How can you judge my disciple's condition so accurately? I don't know why, but I feel like whatever method you are using, I have to protect my disciple from it. Apricot, your feelings aren't wrong, and I think they're able to make judgments because of their special skills. It's honestly scary. I feel like it would be difficult to keep a secret in front of them. Chapter 99. To go to bed without worries. After checking in and leaving out luggage at our lodgings, we went around the capital's main facilities and the central marketplace, where we could buy various things. After enjoying sightseeing for a while, we returned to the accommodation and gathered in my room. We were going to share today's impressions with each other and review tomorrow's plans. By the way, Apricot is also staying at the accommodation as it's cheaper, probably because of Ash's recommendation. As for Mr. Burnt and Ms. Amber, they are staying together as siblings in a room near us at the same accommodation. You don't have any alcohol? Yes. And Cyan, who was more sullen than usual, asked something you wouldn't normally hear from a sister. Apparently, or should I say as expected, she was subjected to a lot of snide comments and pressure at the church. It caused her to get stressed out. As a result of that, as soon as she came here, she split her normal sister clothes with her hands so that it ended up with a slit like her usual uniform, took off her headgear and demanded alcohol. Actually, does she even have spare clothes? How did your sightseeing go? Did you enjoy it? Yeah. I feel apologetic to you, Miss Cyan, but we had a pleasant time. Lady Violet handed Cyan a non-alcoholic drink and told her that we had fun. She told her that Gray and Apricot had funny reactions each time and we had fun just observing them. We were able to see different types of seasonings in tea that we don't see in Shiki, and were able to compare the flavors and enjoy the taste. That our eyes lit up when we saw the street performance. It was also fun to see that Lady Violet watching so intently, perhaps because she had never seen them. We also went to a diner that I used to go to when I was a student for dinner and everybody was happy to try it. She talked about what happened just today. I'm glad you had fun. I also wanted to come with you instead of having to practice singing and the play. Tell me about that diner later, Cielo. I've probably never been there before. I'll tell you the location, but don't go there dressed like that. Yukati Cielo saying the same thing as my peers. No, I also think it's better if you stop dressing like that, Miss Cyan. It's fine in Shiki, but people here aren't used to it, so it's not a good idea to stir them up unnecessarily. But your clothes stand out too, Kati. If your outfit is okay, doesn't that mean that my outfit is okay too? Is that how you thought of my clothes, Miss Cyan? Apricot's witch-like clothes also stand out. There are some mages who wear clothes that resemble that style, but I rarely see them wear big hats like Apricot or hold canes or flip their coats, so it's true that she stands out. A playa. While Cyan and Apricot were arguing about their clothes, I heard Lady Violet whisper in a low voice. A play. In other words, something that His Highness Vermilion and Ms. Mary are starring in. Lady Violet seems to have moved on to some extent, but she must still have things on her mind. In the end, she even got invited to that play. Well, we'll both have a hard time starting tomorrow, so let's enjoy what we can enjoy. You have a day off at least, right, Cyan? More or less. The play aside, I'm also busy with confessions and songs, so I don't have many days off. I'm also thinking about using the day off to participate in the Academy's competition for outsiders. What are you talking about? I wanted to change the topic, but Cyan suddenly started saying something stupid. I mean, it's a good opportunity to go wild legally. Fufu, I can't believe a day has come when I can unleash the full power of my fists. Don't you day has come me. Won't you be scolded by the higher-ups again for turning yourself into a spectacle if you were to participate in something like that? It's pretty much the same thing as being a part of the play at a school festival, and attracting people by creating a place for confessions. If you say that, I can't argue back. It's true that combat itself isn't prohibited by the doctrine because of the need to defend oneself from monsters, but excessive force is still condemned. She's been doing it a lot in Shiki, so I do feel like it's a bit too late to call her out on it. If I'm going to be scolded no matter what I do, I want to do whatever I want as much as possible. Miss Cyan, I think that's probably the same way of thinking as criminals. Do you want to participate too, Io? It looks like we can team up too, so we can snag the win together. No, I can only see the bad ending if Lady Violet competes at the school festival. She's still a daughter of a duke, so there won't be any overt acts of sabotage, but the more she stands out, the more booing she'll get and somebody might try to obstruct her secretly. I doubt Cyan wouldn't know that. Fuhahaha. Then I shall participate with my disciple. Time has finally come for me to unveil one of my greatest spells, Tenfold Eradication. Oh, it's the one that's so incomprehensibly powerful that it kills everybody who gets hit by it. Don't you the one me? What's with that vaguely dangerous-sounding magic? Also, please don't use any of your greatest magic spells, Apricot. If things go wrong, the entire arena might be blown away. Then I will participate with my brother. We will not fight in the arena, but we will fight with the participants elsewhere. Yes, let's utilize various methods. It's okay, I have the medicine that Lady Emerald gave me. Wait, Burnt, that's probably poison, not medicine. Please don't worry. It's the kind that's not detectable. What do you want me to feel at ease about? Those siblings are amazing. They openly announced that they would get rid of the participants behind the scenes. Come to think of it, I wonder how strong they are? I can tell that they're strong from the way they carry themselves, but I wonder about their magic. I wonder if it's just my imagination that I feel like Mr. Burnt uses magic that utilizes vibrations. That's why you will join alone, CLO. Don't worry, if it's you, you'll have no problems alone either. Why do I have to go through the trouble of joining a team tournament alone? Then do you want to invite Ro? You can aim to win with her. That sounds good. Lord CLO? A tag team with Robot, huh? Not bad. Robot's abilities are definitely top class in the academy, and I'd love to trample down everybody while laughing loudly. To be exact, the one doing the tramping would be Robot, but how to say this, it would make me feel like the evil boss and help me relieve stress. Alright, then go get participation forms for everybody, Silo. Okay, let's make Shiki famous, shall we? Nay, it is me and my disciple who shall make our names known. Yes, let's trample them down and laugh at them. Brother, I will investigate the delivery route for the drinks given to the players. Then I will look into the information on the staff. Hey guys, are you serious? Are you really serious? Of course, milady, guys. I wasn't sure about it at first, but when I was told that I would be participating with Robot, I was convinced. This is probably just Cyan messing around after seeing how depressed Lady Violet was. She's sensitive about stuff like that, and it seems like she got worried. Cuckoo. I'll let out all my pent-up frustration on the day of the match. I don't care about the Archbishop. Lady Apricot, the time has finally come to show great deity Ibuki. Kagura to everybody. Yeah, with it, my magic also increases. Since I've improved it, it no longer needs the power of the curse. Fufu, I shall annihilate everybody. Brother, let's take turns to protect the group and divide the roles in investigation. Then I'll choose this time slot too. I want to believe that she was worried about Lady Violet. Or rather, did Apricot master Great Deity Ibuki from the outline that I gave her? And she even improved it? Is this kid for real?